I am in denial that I'm moving back in with my parents at the age of 28. Last month, I walked away from a 6-year-long relationship, and honestly, I'm not sure where I want to live. My job is completely remote, and my company is based in Australia, so realistically, I could pick anywhere. And being able to choose anywhere almost makes it harder because how the heck do you pick? But while I decide, I thought it'd be nice to spend some time with my family. I saw a video a couple weeks ago that said if you're in your late 20s and you only see your parents 2 or 3 times a year, you'll only see them about 50 more times in your life. And I guess this whole situation has really made me start to reflect that you actually never know how much time you're going to get with someone and to appreciate the chances that you do have. So in a weird way, I'm really grateful for this opportunity and I'm trying to make the best of it. Walking around my old neighborhood, eating family dinner every night and going out to the movies or getting ice cream, and really just trying to accept that, sometimes life changes and there's nothing you can really do.
So it is officially 30 days before my golden birthday, and I am sitting in my old room at my dad's house. And the reason that I'm here is because I had to move back in, not by choice, but it's something that I feel like I had to do because God was pulling me out of something that was comfortable and familiar with me, but was no longer serving me. And it was a very hard thing for me to accept and come to the realization that this is what I had to do, because I did a lot of suffering here. I've cried many days, had many lonely nights. I lived here. I dwelled in such a negative, low energy and vibration, like almost literally, quite literally took me out. So obviously I was disappointed because I felt like, wow, God, I've done so much work to get past this point. I've done so much to break through the barrier and separate myself. And I've taken accountability and responsibility for my healing, my growth, the part that I'm playing in my life and my future and my relationships and just everything. And I've been doing the work. I've been growing and I've been evolving. And I think that God knew, He saw that, and He realized that I had grown all that I could grow where I was. I had done all that I could do. I had evolved and progressed to the fullest extent for myself at that time. And He knew that where He's taking me, my trauma, my pain, my self-concept, my limiting beliefs, my negative thought processes, my deep-rooted self-sabotaging behaviors, all of these things could no longer be attached to me if I was going to move further. A lot of people think that when they go to cultivate this new lifestyle, this new reality, and they go to manifest these blessings into their lives, that they can just force their minds into submission, or they could force reality to bend to their will. But you don't understand that you literally create your own reality based on your perception of yourself. Your reality will always tell you exactly who you believe you are in that moment. It's hard to hear, but honestly and truly, nothing is going to move for you until you start to believe that you're worthy of the things that you're pursuing. God knew that there was things that I was running from. There was trauma that I had not healed. There was pain and damage that I had not come to terms with, had not taken accountability for, had not been honest with myself about. There were things about my self-concept, my belief system, my identity that were still attached to me that were no longer in alignment with the direction that God was pulling me. So He had to bring me back to the source. He had to bring me back to the place. He had to bring me back to the pain so that I could look at it, so that I could see it, so that I could acknowledge it, and that I could send it off with love and grace. I can be grateful for the growth that I see in myself, and I can release that part of myself. I'm unlocking a new level. We all are. It's not a setback. It's not failure. It's just that we have to release things that are no longer serving us. Don't be afraid to step away from what's comfortable or what you're familiar with and step forward and follow God. So for the next 30 days, join me. I'm going to be here every day, just sharing my thoughts, things about my life, and just using my platform to inspire others and to also remind myself that, you know what, I am growing. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And I think 26 is going to be a big year for me. So I'm excited.
Okay, you guys, I just had to come on here and talk to y'all about why we had to move back in with my parents. I feel like there's a negative connotation with moving back in with your parents, but there's no negative vibes here. We're super close with my family. It feels like a big sleepover. My parents are literally angels. They're so supportive, and it's actually such a blessing, and we're super grateful. The reason why we moved in is because ever since my husband and I got married, we basically decided At least for the early years of our marriage, we were going to house hack. And I seriously cannot recommend house hacking enough. I think the first 2 years of our marriage, we rented, just kind of got our finances in order. We're saving up to buy something, but we did not start off with a single family. That was not even an option for us. We knew we wanted to buy a multifamily that's stationed in Texas, and they have lots of duplexes there. So we bought a 2-family home, a duplex, and we lived on one side and then we rented out the other side, and most of the mortgage was paid by our tenants. It's like a major life hack. They call it house hacking. And when we moved to Oklahoma, we rented out both sides of the first duplex we bought, and we bought another duplex here in Oklahoma. We're making money on the duplex in Texas, and then our mortgage was very cheap here in Oklahoma. Now we are looking to add a 3rd duplex to our portfolio. I just can't say enough about house hacking. People say, oh, I can never be a landlord, or like, I don't want to deal with the headache of tenants. But if you have a good system where you're vetting these people and doing the background checks, that really shouldn't be a problem. We've had amazing tenants and had great relationships with all of our tenants. If you're buying quality properties, maintaining them, vetting your tenants, then I really can't recommend being a landlord enough. It has really given me a lot of peace of mind about stepping back from working and just having that passive income and kind of leaning on that a little bit more while I've stayed home with my toddler. So just to make the transition easier, we were able to move in with my parents, rent out both sides of our duplex here in Oklahoma. So now that one is paying for itself. We're just able to save up and prep for our next property that we're trying to acquire. Ultimately, the goal is that our real estate portfolio will pay for our single family home when we do settle down and get that dream home, forever home. I know some of you guys commented like, I can't wait to see the new house when you guys move in. I'm going to be filming from my mom's house for the next few months. She has a nice house. We are not there yet. I just wanted to clarify that with you guys and just bring you along and update you on the journey.
Living at home was never the plan, but I have been living back with my mom for the last 9 months now, and I wanted to talk about maybe the biggest pro of moving back in that I think is worth considering if you are in a situation where you could live with family for a short to midterm amount of time. So hear me out. I am a hypnotherapist. I work for myself. It's a 1-woman show, and I love what I do. I genuinely love getting to work with people in this way. But as with any business, it's not really linear, and things are constantly changing, and I'm constantly refining what I'm doing to grow my business. And in order to focus on my business, or in order to even pursue this at all, when I was living on my own, which I was doing for the last, 6.5, almost 7 years, completely alone, no roommates. I have a cat, but otherwise alone. I was doing so many other jobs. I was a nanny. I was a freelance writer. I was a yoga teacher. I worked part-time as a temp for my former university's admissions team every winter. Like, the list goes on, and it was so stressful. And I think my nervous system got so used to constantly being in go, go, go mode that I didn't actually realize what it was like to rest. And I didn't realize that I didn't realize it until maybe 6 to 8 weeks after moving back in with my mom. And I was like, oh wow, if I'm tired, I can rest. I can sleep like a full night of sleep if I want to. I don't have to constantly be thinking of how to make this happen or that happen. I don't have to constantly be working, doing this job over here and that job over there. I could just focus on this thing that I really want to work out. And so, look, everyone's situation is going to be different, right? You have to figure out what is best for you. There's also cons that go along with moving back in with family as an adult, and we can talk about those in another video if you want. But I think if you are in a position where you really want to pursue a certain line of work or a certain degree or something that is going to stretch you or require you to be super stretched thin by living on your own, if you have the opportunity to live with family or to have some sort of living situation that gives you more stability and more groundedness, I really think it's worth considering.
So if you're living at home, here's a tip. I see so many people moving back in with their parents, and I'm like, y'all, I never left. I did an internship in Florida, came back, I knew this was home. You do this short-term, thing for a long-term investment in the end, right? And I think to myself, I have forever to have my home and my peace and my sanity. That's longevity. Do this for now. So the tip is, you know your parent. Try to be one step ahead of them. So because I'm home, I'm saving tons of money. Whether it's mom or dad, once a month, just do something nice. And it can be so simple. And this will just decrease the arguments and the nagging and the things, that go on in the day-to-day household when you're living with your parents. Whenever you go somewhere, you ask, does anybody need anything? And granted, you might think that's so simple, but you'll be surprised. So many people that are living with their parents, but they live like this double life and act as if like their parents don't exist, right? So I went to the nail shop like I typically do. My mom was like, can you run a Walmart for me? At first, I was about to say like, that was not my plan today. But I was like, you know what? Yes. She tried to give me the money for what she needed. I was like, nope, I have it, right? Only because this will decrease the argument in the long run. Not saying I deserve a cookie for being a great child, but I'm just saying it will decrease the arguments if you just do something like once a month. So small. And then be ahead of the chores. Because your parents are only getting older and slower at this point. Not slower as in like mentally, but like their bodies are moving like turtles. So if anything, if there's dishes, I'll already do it. Trash, I'll already do it. I'm like one step ahead. So what is there to even argue about? And then I will plan my life around the things that I have to do. I'm just saying, try it when you go back home so you don't have to argue as much.
If you are fortunate enough to live with your parents or have a situation where like a family member is willing to let you stay with them and you don't have to like really pay rent, and it's a situation that you can actually like tolerate, do it. For the last 10 years of my life, I've been renting and I've moved home like a few times, but this is probably like the most disciplined I've been when I move home, because like I'll move home and I would just like blow money and be out on the weekends all the time, splurging, traveling, just blowing my money and not saving. But this time around, I'm just like in a different stage and phase of my life. And I've actually been saving money for a house. And like, I'm not going to share too much, but things are going well. And like on average, I've been able to save like $2,000 a month living with my parents. I haven't even been here that long, but I just noticed like a big change in my discipline with spending money. Like I used to just splurge and buy stuff and like run up credit card, and I don't do any of that anymore. Like I really do not use my credit card like unless I actually have to. Like I had an emergency at the vet, use it for that. But the point I'm saying is if you are blessed enough to stay with family members and save your money, like really save your money, because this economy is not a joke. And I just think some people take that for granted. Like I understand wanting your independence and, I feel like everybody like wants the luxury apartment and to live that lifestyle. And it's like, I've lived it, baby. It's nice, especially when you can afford it. It's nice. But I'm just in a different space. I'm about to be in my 30s. So it's like, I want to own something. And I'm just like really proud of myself for like staying the course, being disciplined, making sacrifices. Like everything that I own that was in my apartment is literally in this room in storage. Like I don't even have a real closet right now. As you see, this is like my jewelry and stuff. Like I don't sleep in here. This is just where I get ready. But it's like the fact that I made a really, really big sacrifice to live with my parents, like sacrificing just like more times with friends and stuff because I'm further away from like where my life is. But all in all, I just feel like I'm actually getting something out of this. Like the fact that I've been able to save money, my credit score has gone up. Like I'm in the home buying process. Like it's just like, okay, like it's worth it. Sometimes you got to make those sacrifices because it's worth it. And in a couple months, I'll be having the keys to my house.
I moved back in with my parents like a month ago, after being on my own for like a year and a half. And at first I was super depressed about it because I'm losing my freedom and it feels like such a loser thing to do. But now I don't have any bills to pay. And I actually feel very free. I feel quite free. Yesterday, my mom made me breakfast, baby, and I didn't have to do anything. I feel really good. I feel really good. The whole independent woman thing, it was cute. It was cute while it was cute, but I'm having a lot better time not having to pay rent every month, Nothing is my responsibility anymore. And that's actually goals. So I won't be moving out again until I get married. I'm good with that.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, just move home. Just moved back home. I'm 29 years old. 29 years old. I just moved from living in the city by myself, Chicago, to the suburbs in my parents' house. And my parents don't have a huge, big, fancy house. You know, we're not rich or anything like that. But to have the opportunity to live at home and not be so stressed out all the time about paying $2,000 a month in rent, it's priceless. It's priceless. Do you guys know how much money I have now? How many things I can do? Okay, I could go get Botox anytime I want. I could buy a house in 2 years if I wanted.
Whoever in your mid to late 20s, rather do it now than have to move back home in my mid 30s. All of a sudden I'm in my 30s and I literally have no savings. I have $0. I have nothing because I wanted to live on my own. No. So we're moving back home. I keep telling myself I'm okay with that, but I'm struggling. Definitely struggling for sure. I want to save money, be able to live my life. I want to be able to take a vacation. I never go on vacations or do anything because I don't have the money, or if I do have the money, I don't have extra money to cover taking time off of work because I don't have that much PTO. So it's just an endless cycle of I literally can't do anything because I have no money. I'd rather live at my parents' house for a little bit and be able to enjoy my life. I really do not buy myself anything anymore. I only spend my money on my rent, my bills, gas, and food. I spend a lot of money on groceries. I do love to cook fancy meals, so I spend a lot on groceries regardless. It's like miss being able to just go and buy a t-shirt or like a cute pair of pants. I have literally no money at all. I also have realized that living with a roommate is just not for me. If you're my roommate watching this, love you. I want to live by myself. Kind of ironic me saying I want to live by myself as I'm going to move back home with my parents to the middle of nowhere. That's funny. But hopefully in like a year's time, I'll be able to live on my own. I have become a very much so a homebody. I've really changed in the last year. I used to be a part of a big friend group, constantly like partying and going out. I really didn't drink that much. I've never been a huge drinker, but definitely just like being in that atmosphere of being out all the time, going out, hanging out, like being up all hours of the night. And now I want to be home by like 9 o'clock in my bed, either reading or just like scrolling on TikTok or working on Canva edits, like doing something. I'm now into running and I just want to be home afterwards, making dinner and going to bed. I'm just like a very at-home person and I just want my own space and to like live on my own, worry about someone else's schedule or like what friends they're having over or what they're doing. And I prefer living by myself. I lived on my own for over a year. So my whole goal of moving home is so that I can save up money and have a little bit more of a savings when I go to move out again on my own. That way I have a little cushion in case like things go wrong or if I need some extra money here and there, because right now I got no savings. And by paycheck to paycheck, and it's stressing me out. And I feel like all this stress that I have from finances is taking years off of my life. I've seen a bunch of videos of people being like, oh, I'm moving back home with my parents in my 20s. And they show their parents' house and it's like these beautiful homes. Not that I'm not appreciative of my parents' house. I would literally take anything. I'm not going home to like a huge house where I have my own space. No, back to having no dishwasher. That's okay. That's fine. I will survive without a dishwasher. I just feel like not a lot of people on TikTok show like moving back in with your parents if they're not rich or like don't live in a fun city. My parents literally live quite literally in the middle of nowhere. I just thought it would be fun to document my journey of moving back home. So if you want to see that or hear my rants about the process of moving back and living with my parents, follow along because I'm sure there'll be more car rants to come. Wish me luck, guys.
Can we normalize moving back with your parents in like your 20s and even 30s? Like, it is hard out here for us. Everything is so expensive. Rent is so expensive. My husband and I moved out on our own for the first time after getting married. And after a year, we decided to move back in with my dad and save up to hopefully buy a house. Obviously not anytime soon, and obviously not in Southern California because interest rates are way too high and everything is just way too expensive right now. But I think moving back in with your parents in your 20s, even 30s is a lot more common than people think. I don't think anyone should be ashamed of it. And if you are lucky enough to have your parents to fall back on and to move back in, I think you should take full advantage of it and just feel blessed that you have that as an option because y'all
not gonna want to hear this, but the best thing you could do is move back in your parents' house, save your money, get yourself out of survival mode, stop drinking, lose the weight, stop spending money on super stuff, cut off friends that ain't good for you, lock in, and your life gonna get 20 times better. You gonna feel better, you gonna look better. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds like the worst thing to do. But when you get out of survival mode, your life changes for the better. You're going to become the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself. And I'm just saying this mainly for women because when we in survival mode and fight or flight mode for all of our lives because we out here trying to do it on our own, if you got the option to go back to your house, like if you have a house at home and your bedroom is still there, and I know we have pride sometimes and we don't want to do it. We don't want to feel like we're going backwards. I did not want to do it. I didn't want to do it. But I took the opportunity to do it anyway. I had to put my pride to the side, and I'm going to say it is the best decision ever. I don't think I'm always going to be here, but one thing I do know is that it has saved me from so much. You save so much money, but you also have the time to just find yourself and get your life together, to work on you, to work on yourself. Like, stop letting social media make you feel like you have to prove to people that you are on a certain level. And it's okay to take a break sometimes. It's okay to have time to come back to yourself. It's okay to take a step backwards. You don't know where God, that boomerang is going to sling you back forward to. Please, whoever needs this advice, I'm not even going to add no hashtags. Whoever needs this advice, like, if it's on your mind and you feel like it's something that you have to do, like you may have to go back home to get yourself together, do it. You are not going to regret it. I don't regret it at all. I know that I'm going to be where I want to be. I don't know how soon, but I know that I'm going to get everything back that I had. I know I'm going to get back where I need to be. I'm going to be in a better space. But this time that I have right now, coming home to just come back to myself has saved me. And there's no way I could have done it in survival mode. So whoever needs that advice, there you go.
I am 28 years old and I'm about to move back in with my parents again. I just want to speak about how it feels to be this age and be moving back in with your parents, and how it's okay to not have it all figured out when you're 28. I'm nearly 29. I'm 29 in 2 months. Like, it's okay to not be where everyone else is in life, you know? No, you don't have to have a mortgage and have it all figured out. Like, I've been doing seasons in Ibiza for the past 4 years, and I still don't know if I'm gonna do a season next year, or if I'm gonna move to London, or move to Australia, or move to another continent. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. As a person, that's got like ADHD and a trans woman who is a creative and doesn't really fit in with the normal 9 to 5 sort of vibe. It comes to the point where you're just like, am I going to keep moving out and moving in? And yeah. But it's fine. That is life. It's a game. And we're all playing our own little game, you know? And it's fun. It's exciting. So just wanted to say, if you're in this same situation, or if you're not and you're thriving and you're happy with your mortgage and your house and your children, then amazing. I'm happy for you. But for the people that aren't, don't compare yourself and don't think that you need to be somewhere that you aren't right now. Because where you are is exactly where you're meant to be. And just remember the things that you have done, that them people that have the mortgages and have the children and have the house might not have done. Like for myself, I've travelled around the world, done so much travelling. I've lived in Ibiza, I've lived in Dubai, I've lived in Mexico, I've lived in South America. Like, a lot of people haven't done that. So yeah, just thought I'd just say, if you are feeling a bit lost, or you have to go home to your parents' house for a couple of months while you figure things out, or you started a project that you've not finished, or yeah, you're sat in your car like me with all your belongings, your literal life in a car, going to the next place, or just trying to figure it out. Like, you're fine, honey. You're fine. As long as you're healthy, you're happy, and you have good people around you. And even if you have a bit of debt, honestly, it's fine. As I said, it's a game. Don't let yourself get carried away with the debt, so make sure you pay them off, girl or boy. But yeah, today I move home again. I've been moving home in October and November sort of time for the past 4 years now, since 2021. I've been doing seasons in Ibiza. Am I done? Am I over it yet? I feel like I might be. So yeah, follow my journey whilst I figure out my next move, because I don't actually know what it is. But for now, focus on getting on this ferry.
I will be a grown-up for one moment and one moment only and admit that I was wrong about something. And I would like to issue a formal apology to everybody that I was judgmental of in my head only that moved back in with their parents post-grad. I graduated from college on a Saturday. I started my job on a Monday. I have a fantastic job. I'm very blessed, very lucky to have the job that I have. I could absolutely be living by myself. I am choosing not to for a couple of reasons. I worked throughout college. I was still broke by the end of my senior year. Yeah. So we gotta build that emergency fund back up. For this first year where my living expenses are practically nothing, I plan to really aggressively save for retirement, put money away in my retirement accounts. I also bought a new car. I would like to aggressively pay that down as well. I would just prefer to be a little bit more established before I start dropping money on a new apartment and more utilities. If you're in school right now and you think you're going to move out right away, that's great. But also, if that doesn't happen, that's kind of the norm. And it's okay. It's tough because to look at social media, you would think that every single college graduate immediately moves into a luxury apartment. And while some people do that, I've found that there's 3 cases that explain that situation. The first is that they graduated college and got a very well-paying job. That's pretty rare. The second is that there's a significant other that they can share expenses with. Option number 3 is that their parents subsidize that lifestyle. And that's okay, but if it's not you, that's okay too. I am freshly post-grad. I'm also a deeply anxious person. I also know that it would have been really helpful for me my senior year to be hearing from someone that was freshly post-grad that life isn't so terrible. I am still nervous because change is very hard for me, but it's also not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'll keep you posted.